Next is from who we got here? Anthony Hunt Bloodline question. K100. Greetings from Philly. We love K100 crew. My question is with Jey Uso stepping up in the rise of Sammy, where do we go? Do we make Mania a triple threat or do Usos versus Owens and Sammy? I could see Jey helping Sammy win the title. Billy is right. Love Sammy, not feeling Cody. I just think you got to keep riding Sammy. What do you think, Anthony Hunt, Philly? No. Bro,
I mean,
what do you when you let the marks and the smart marks get in the conversation? Like you heard the conversation. Did you hear the Meltzer? Konnan, did you watch the Meltzer Alvarez clip?
Yep.
Let's play it. Let's get that clip in here and play that. I want to play this. Okay. Because I just gotta put this to bed. Because when you bro, guys like that have never been in the booking room before. Okay, and they just do not get it. You know.
Wrestling is that doesn't ever have to happen. Never. In MMA, if George St. Pierre goes to Montreal,
you can't control if he wins or loses. If everything would be better if he wins, it doesn't matter. You can't control it. But in pro wrestling, the whole point is you can control it. There was nothing stopping them from having Sami Zayn win. There was nothing preventing them. It's not like you have zero tickets sold for WrestleMania. Like the place has already got 55,000 both nights or whatever. I mean, you've sold your tickets. The show is going to do great on Peacock, regardless of who goes in as champion. There was literally no good reason not to put the title on him on this show.
Okay, but here's the thing. Given that Sammy is the one who's drawing the ratings, Roman was on that show last night and they did another big rating. That show's been doing well with or without Roman. The draw is Sammy. And it's like, okay. So given that evidence, it's like, it's like, even if you think, I mean, you shouldn't even, if you are analyzing the data, by doing so, you're looking at it and going like, we will probably do better with Sammy. I mean, that's the conclusion that I come to. It's like, okay, we spent a year on Roman, but guess what? Somebody passed him up. I mean, he did. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't say he didn't because the data is right there. Okay. They weren't doing these numbers. Roman's been champion for 2 years. They haven't done these numbers ever. Yeah. When John Cena came in, they did these numbers for one shot. And if John was in week after week, it'd only be week one where they would do these numbers. Sammy is the biggest draw that they have had on this show in, I don't know, I have to look back. I mean, maybe 3 years ago, when TV was different, maybe they were doing numbers this big. I don't remember exactly. And they weren't, and I don't think they were quite this big either, even then. But this has become the biggest draw that show has had. And, it's the whole storyline, of course. It's not Sammy in and of itself in a vacuum. But this is the storyline. That's the point. It's like, keep this storyline going. I keep this thing going for as long as possible. And at this point, if Sammy wins, Roman coming back, it's the same feud. You know what I mean? So it's like, whatever. It already happened. We can talk about it.
It's already happened.
What's your comment on that?
I just think that Roman's had that title long enough, but he has to give the rub to somebody by making him champion. And I have a feeling that maybe the championship was promised to Cody. For him to come back. That's what I'm thinking. Now, here's the thing. I feel that you don't have to think, okay, is Cody, is Cody better than Sammy? You could make two guys at the same time. The problem that I think the fear might have been is that if Sammy won the championship, maybe Cody, who was going on a ascension, would kind of fizzle out a little bit, where Sammy doesn't have to win the championship and he's going to stay hot. And then maybe in the future you give it to him. But I wouldn't have a problem. I think Cody's a more marketable of the two, and that's probably what they're looking at. But when you have an organic thing like this that's so huge, kind of like the last time I remember something like this, maybe Bryan Danielson.
The yes movement. But basically,
but wait. Let me cover that real quick.
And the other thing is that, you don't always have to look like a star. Look at Mick Foley. But what?
I was exactly going to equate Sammy to Daniel Bryan because everybody wanted Bryan to win the belt, and finally WWE acquiesced, and we had the big Bryan winning the belt moment. But what happened after that? That title reign was tepid. They put him in with Kane and this. It wasn't what everybody. It's not his fault, but I'm saying I thought about that. When I thought about that, it was like, all right, Sammy wins.
Look at what they did when they gave Rey Mysterio the title.
That's true.
Every non-title match he had, he lost.
So
he
if
was
you
getting
were,
squashed here in San Diego, bro.
yeah, by Mark
It's
Henry
up
and
to
Kali,
creative
yeah.
to find somebody that's hot and keep them hot.
So if you were booking, would you have had Sammy win
Of
Saturday
course
night?
not. I'm gonna go ask that. And this is, and unfortunately, this attitude Dave has it, Alvarez has it. I don't think Konnan has it, but as Konnan's been in wrestling, it's like people from the outside looking in, like a guy like me that's, I'm not in the business anymore. I just observe it, right? But one thing I
So you're a
see
wrestling observer.
one thing I see that's happened a lot in wrestling, okay, over the years,
Okay,
and
that wasn't
especially,
funny, and that the fact that you
yeah,
laughed at it.
Wait for
yeah, Joe got kazooed. But bro, and this is what AEW doesn't do, okay, and they support stuff, bro. You have to, and this has been eroded over the years, and I think Tony would agree with this, is that the suspension of disbelief is a core tenet for professional wrestling, and has been in years past. But the suspension of disbelief is kind of eroded over the years to where, like, especially like on AEW, where anytime a little guy wrestles a big guy, the big guy loses like literally every single time. And I mean, like, there's not even like, I can't even recall a situation where, like, any of these big guys have beat the smaller guys, right? Except Joe. But Joe got beat by Darby, too. And I just think that at that, when your show is this strong, I know that angle's strong, okay? And bro, the angle is entertaining to the point that the best stuff about the angle with Sammy has been the vignettes, not the matches. Nobody's remembered. You can't remember the matches unless the exact thing on the finish of the match. You remember a lot of the vignettes. You remember a lot of the in-ring interviews. That's been what's gotten over. Sammy can continue in this mode of doing entertaining television like that. He does not need the belt. If you're going to beat Roman, you're going to have to beat him with somebody that looks the part. Because this guy's had the belt for like 900 days. So for the suspension of disbelief, and if you're selling the magnitude of a match, and you're drawing fans that really haven't been watching a while, the visual picture of Sami Zayn beating Roman Reigns, I don't think these casual fans are going to buy it. And they're not going to stay with it and like continue to watch. Like they might come in and look and go, "Oh, that looks ridiculous." And you're going to have fans like that, and there are fans like that still exist. Which is why I don't think Sammy should win the belt. He got his big match in Montreal. I'm sure it probably did a fantastic number. The wrestling ratings are going to continue to do very good going through WrestleMania because the Bloodline story is still very strong with Jey Uso, and Sammy's still involved. So Cody looks the part. He looks like a credible champ. And it's been, Drew McIntyre looks the part. Goldberg looked the part. So he beat all these guys. You can't have Roman go through all those guys and then Sami Zayn's going to be the guy to take the belt off him. I'm sorry. That's me coming from the thing of like, okay, you got to stick to the suspension of disbelief here because casual fans might be tuning in and they're not going to, that ain't going to sell for them. What do you think about that, Konnan?
Like I said, I can go either way. I can have Sammy as a champion and do something cool with Cody so he doesn't cool out. But I think Cody. No, I would give it right now. I'd probably give it to Cody.
Right.
Yeah.
Let me say this, and after watching Cody, you haven't seen it yet, but I got to talk about it because we're right in the middle of it. But I tweeted my idea. I think my idea should have been the way they went. Because, bro, they missed a huge pop. Because when Jay came and the gimmick was Sammy went to spear Roman, but Roman moved out of the way and he speared Jay. And then he got, everything. And you missed, there was a groan and he lost, Bro, they missed, and then Jay just rolled out, So you could have done the spot where Jay super kicked, had the choice of what he was going to do and super kick Roman and blown the roof off the place.
Okay, I thought the same thing, but this is what I think. They didn't want to give away the Jey Uso thing yet, or maybe the hug with Kevin Owens that people were expecting, because now they got it for Mania.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking.
Maybe, yeah. You might be right. You might be right. I don't know. That's the thing. I'm just speculating.
Yeah, me too.
I'm watching this story. I don't want the spoiler on this. I want to watch a story like that.
Right.
I get my opinion. What should they do with that work? Maybe that worked better. So I like it. That's what I like about this story. So.
And for the record, Disco, I thought initially that it would just make more sense to go the easy route it would just be Usos versus Owens and Zayn. But the way you described Jay taking Sammy's side, that actually made me way more interested. I was looking for that. I was hoping for that.
I'm saying Jay and Sammy against Solo and Jimmy Uso is just as compelling a story as you could tell as Owens and Sammy. Bro, Sammy. First of all, Sammy and Owens and they're trying to paint this picture that Sammy and Kevin Owens are like good friends after all these. But they've turned on Kevin's turned on them multiple times throughout their career,
and Sammy's turned on him now too.
Right, you can continue to tell that story. Like there's stuff, that's why I think that's why I thought that Owens can turn on Sammy still. You know what I'm saying? Because that would be true to his character. He's been doing it his whole career. So I don't know.